Hello, welcome back to the James Rambling Reviews for yet another episode. And in today's episode, I'm actually going to be reviewing the newest kind of like Korean drama movie that hit Netflix, and it's called Officer Black Belt. So before I get into how I felt about Officer Black Belt, I'll give you a bit of context, and then I'm obviously going to give you a bit about the plot, a bit about like a rating out of 10 and stuff like that. But before we get into all of that kind of stuff, this does feel a bit weird because I actually do have a bit of different lighting. Because if you don't remember from last week's video, I actually, like, my LED light wasn't functioning as much as it used to. So I have another light, like a big lamp right here. So for people who are listening on Spotify, like, oh, what's that? Oh, it's just like a big giant lamp. So a lot more light is projecting onto the screen now. So I won't go on and on and on about that. And so, Officer Black Belt, my context is that I have actually enjoyed Korean drama movies and Korean drama shows in general in the past, and I have kind of expressed my passion towards this type of media in the past on the review show. So, for example, as an example of that, right, I actually reviewed Mission Cross, which was this like action buddy kind of comedy kind of movie on Netflix where it was this Korean drama between this woman and this guy, and there was some kind of things going on between those two, and I will link that down below. And I didn't spoil that entire movie, so there was that, and then there's obviously Black Knight that I reviewed, Kill Box Soon. There was quite a few like Korean drama movies and stuff like that I reviewed on the review show, and some Korean drama shows, and so there's definitely that. And so Officer Black Belt is an interesting one for me because as I went into this movie, I actually saw the preview of this movie. It's like, oh, it's a comedy. It's like another kind of silly kind of Mission Cross type of thing. And so just to kind of give you, I would kind of spoil this movie, but I want you to really actually go in blind for this movie because the preview of it being a comedy ended up surprising me a lot. It's like it was more than what it actually was kind of thing. And so this movie, it's almost 2 hours long, and it is it's kind of about this guy who has this black belt. He is kind of like related towards like martial arts and stuff like that. Like the main character, you kind of learn that in the preview, so that isn't a spoiler. Like in the actual trailer, you get to see that, and all you get to see is pretty much the silly parts of the movie that don't even make up like 90% of this movie or 100% of this movie. And so there's definitely that. And so let me get into how I actually felt about this movie, Officer Black Belt. And I'm going to say right out of the gate that you have yet another really good Korean drama movie on your hands here, because I was laughing quite a lot during this movie, even in Korean with the subtitles on. I was able to like appreciate and laugh and be entertained by, a language that I'm not fully fond of, right? Like, I know there's certain words in Korean I am fond of, but I am not like an expert. I was not born in Korea, so it's kind of nice to see myself kind of getting myself kind of, amused by this. But what really, what really did make me feel so like proud of this movie and just really enjoy this movie is how it actually like makes you think it's a comedy, but then later on there's like this big giant insane plot that goes on. And the movie, there's bits of action, there's bits of like romance, there's bits of drama, there's bits of comedy, and I'm not going to spoil why that is like that, but the way that the movie kind of balances those ideas out was actually quite good. Like, you would think for a movie like this, it just has too much going on, there's so much going on, and so that's what I would say. Like, if you have something like Kaliki 2980 Day to Day or whatever, like that movie, that Bollywood movie I reviewed, where you had like action, drama, and so much was going on, right? And it was 3 hours long. Well, this movie does it in about an hour and 40 minutes, hour and 50 minutes. Like, there's times where I would just kind of out of curiosity check how much is left on this movie. But, like, it's just kind of to see how long is left. And I'm like, oh, there's already half an hour left. Like, the pacing is actually quite good on this movie. It doesn't actually skip a beat. Sure, there are points where the movie kind of slows down to have the plot unravel a bit more so that you can kind of be along for this ride. There's quite, like, the main character's quite funny, and then also his friends in the movie, like, they all have these different silly names, and I thought his friends were really funny, and also his like, mentor or his, like, manager, like, I think his name's Director Kim in the movie, like, he's quite funny. A lot of the characters, they share a lot of good chemistry, and so this movie is definitely, if we're going to compare it to something like Mission Cross, it's completely different to that. Mission Cross is like a comedy from beginning to end, and there's only like 2 or 3 scenes where there's actually dramatic things happening. And so out of 10, I would give like this movie Officer Black Belt a solid 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10, because it does, like I was mentioning, it was doing all of these things, but it's managed to ravel it all into one big thing where it's like, you know what, it actually all pays off in the end, it all kind of makes sense. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and stay tuned for more like it. I very much did enjoy reviewing this movie, and so yeah, stay tuned, and that's my review of Officer Black Belt. So yeah, bye.